Hello friends, welcome to Dr. Acharya Academy. Today I'll start a new project, the determination of analytes by LC-MS methods. In bracket oblique MS means it is the fragmented, or we used to call LC-MS methods. We will determine the nitrosamine using the LC-MS method. And in this method, I have taken several references. Today's class number is LC-MS-Pharma 001. First, I'll give the reference. I have taken reference from the US FDA guidelines, ESP NF General Chapter, Agilent's application note, or link has been provided here, and ICA's guideline M7 revision 1. First, introduction. The recent unexpected findings of nitrosamine impurities, which are probable human carcinogens in drugs such as angiotensin II receptor blocker, ARBs, ranitidine, nizatidine, and metformin. You know that metformin is the very useful medicine for diabetic patient. And they have clear the need for a risk assessment strategy for potential nitrosamines in any pharmaceuticals product at risk for their presence. The US FDA guidance revision 1 dated in the February 2021 recommends steps for manufacturers of APIs and drug products should take to detect and prevent unacceptable levels of nitrosamine impurities in pharmaceutical products. The US FDA guidance also describes the condition that may introduce nitrosamine impurities. So, determination of nitrosamine impurities is very important for get the reliable drug product. And the ESP NF 1469 General Chapter provides a risk-based approach for the control of nitrosamine impurities in order to reduce or eliminate their presence in drug product. This chapter provides suitable performance criteria for analytical procedure used for the quantification of nitrosamine impurities. So this is the introduction. Now we'll see the structure of different nitrosamine impurities. Here the 12 different nitrosamine is there. Its general formula, if you see, then it will be the O double bond N, single bond N, R, R. So these are maybe same or maybe different depending on the type of the nitrosamine. So here 12 numbers of nitrosamine is there, and their structure you can see different type of structures is there. So its short name also there. Now all nitrosamine impurities its molecular weight ranging from the 74 to 158. We'll see in details. So for experiment, the chemicals and reagents needs all 12 nitrosamine standards, LCMS grade solvents, methanol and water, and the formic acid. Now we'll see the schematic diagram of UHPLC. So here you can see that solvent bottle is there, two different solvent. We used to do the gradient from these two solvents, and then after mixing with the sample, these gradient solvents will go through the separation and ultimately it will come to the detector to detect. And it is the ultra high performance liquid chromatography, because when you need very small amount of sample to separate, but the analyte is very less amount, then you need special type of columns, and its stationary phase diameter will be very, very less. And in that case, specially designed pump for solvent pumping is needed. High capacity pumping needed. And that's why it is called the ultra performance liquid chromatography. So you can see one example. This is the column, very short column, and its stationary phase materials. Radius also very, very less. Now example, waters has UPLC and Agilent's UHPLC, Infinity 1290. And in addition, Shimazdu also has UHPLC. So different type of ultra high performance liquid chromatography is available in market. Now we'll see the schematic diagram of the triple quadrupole. So here you can see the introduction of the sample in this system. Because triple quadrupole, it is the detection system for mass. So here one ionization source will be there, because if sample will ionize, then only it will be detected by the mass spectrometer. The sample which is not the ionized, it cannot be detected by the mass spec. This is the primary condition. Source here, two types. One is the electrospray ionization, ESI, or atmospheric pressure chemical ionization, APCI. And after ionization, it will go to a triple quadrupole. It is written there because quadrupole is 3. 1, 2, 3. Quadrupole, why the pole? That means one rod is 4 rod is there in every case. That's why it is called quadrupole, and triple means 3 is there. So first one we used to call the Q1, second quadrupole we used to Q2, and third quadrupole is the mass filter Q3. So with the first quadrupole mass filter, we will identify the precursor ion. We'll discuss what is the precursor ion. We'll discuss later, just to understand now. And these precursor ions will fragment here to find the product ion. And after that, again, this product ion will be detected by the third quadrupole mass filter Q3. And ultimately, it will be detected by the particle multiplier. So this is the schematic diagram of triple quadrupole. Now, if you attach to the UPLC with the triple quadrupole, then it will be looks like that. And here it is the ionization source. Here the sample will ionize. Whatever sample will come through the column from the UHPLC, then it will introduce is this ionization system, ionization source, and after that it will be detected. What I discussed in the schematic diagram of the triple quadrupole. Now data analysis, as I told that this data is using the application note from Agilent. One example, with any systems, any mass spec systems, triple quadrupole, you can use this type of data analysis. I have taken the example of the application note from Agilent. That's why I am mentioning this Agilent Mass Hunter software. The MSMS transition, what I told that product ion is the due to the MSMS transitions and are obtained and optimized using the Agilent Mass Hunter Acquisition Optimizer software to determine the optimal precursor and the product ions, fragmental voltage, collision energies, because collision energy will use to break the precursor ions to form the product ions. Upon injection of a neat solution of each individual compound at a concentration level of 1000 nanogram per ml and 1 microliter injection volume in flow injection mode. Now, on configuration for Agilent, the configuration is there. Any instrument has similar type of parameters you have to set here. In this case, you see the multi-sampler temperature is 6 degrees centigrade, sample diluent water, and needle wash methanol, and volume 40 microliter, and analytical column. You use the Agilent. In this case, the Poroshell is there, very much effective for the determination of this type of compounds. And column temperature as usual 40 degrees centigrade, and mobile phase contains the 0.2% formic acid in water. That means mobile phase should be acidic in character to ionize the analyte. And mobile phase B is the methanol, and flow rate, in this case, the 0.4 ml per minute. And gradient, you can see from time when 0 minutes, percentage of B, this is the gradient program. So 1 to 95, it will complete within the 10 minutes of the gradient time, and stop time also 10 minutes. And post time, it is the 3 minutes. It is mainly used for the washing. Now, MS configuration and source setting. It is similar for all types of instrument. And for Agilent, you can see the MSMS mode is the dynamic MRM, DMRM. This one we'll discuss in details in another class. Here the scope is not there because I'm mainly focusing on the determination of the nitrosamine by LC-MSMS. And its ion mode is positive. You can remember that in the HPLC, in the mobile phase, we use the water with formic acid. formic acid is acid, and from there H plus need to be ionized positively of the analytes, and that's why it is in positive mode. And drying gas temperature is the 300 degrees centigrade, and drying gas flow 6 liters per minute. You need the drying gas. Generally, we used to use the nitrogen gas, drying gas, and because when the in the entrance of the mass spec system, when the sample is introduced, then it should be dried. That means volume should be dried. That's why drying gas flow is needed. And nebulizer pressure also there, it needs pressure also, and APCI heater is there, 350 degrees centigrade, and APCI needle positive, and capillary voltage positive mode. It is very important, 3000 volt, because it will help to take the sample analytes inside the mass spec system. And MS1 to resolution, it will be always by default. You can little bit modify, and dwell time is the variable. So these all are the parameters for the MS configuration and source setting. And it is almost same for every type of triple quadrupole across the vendor, across the manufacturer. Now we will focus on the molar mass, because we know that mass spectrometry will identify the mass. That means mass will be identified when it will be the ionized. And in this case, it will be positive mode. That means positive ions should be formed. So if you see here, then for the first compound, NDMA, I'm telling the short name, then it is very easy, and structure is there. As per structure, the molecular formula, you can find here C2H6N2O, and if you count the molar mass, then 74.1. And if you add the H plus ion, because for the positive charging, you need at least one H plus ion, and in this case, it is the 75.1. And similarly, for the other nitrosamine compounds, you will find the molar mass, and if you add the 1, that means one H you need to add, then you will get the M plus H positive ion. And for the another ion, NMBA, the molar mass is the 146.1, and the M plus H plus is the 147.1. In same way, you can see here, there's a 6 compounds and another 6 compounds, total 12 compounds is there. The last compound is the N-tertiary butyl N-ethyl nitrosamine. It doesn't have any shortcut name till now. Maybe in future it will get. And the structure is there, and its molar mass is the 130.2, and the ionized mass, singly charged, positive charged ion is the 131.2. Now, collision-induced dissociation. So, CID, in short, it is called the CID, because when it will dissociate, during the schematic diagram presentation, we already explained. And in this case, first precursor ion, what we call the MS ion. And when it is by CID, it is dissociate, then it will form the product ion. Then it is called the MS ion. And in this case, you see that all compounds has its precursor ions as well as the product ions list, theoretically. So in first case, if you see the N-nitrosodimethylamine, then its precursor ion is 75.1, and then its products ion will be the 47.1. Now one question will come that what CID methods will do to get the product ion? What is the calculation? So you please see the structure for the N-nitrosodimethylamine. You say that these two bonds are there. These two bonds is having the less energy comparative to the other sigma bonds. So these two bonds where the nitrogen is attached to the alkyl groups, in this case the CH3 groups, it will be broken due to the collision induced dissociation. And in this case, if you remove this, and in addition, if you put the H to H to maintain the ends, that structure, what is the valency is there, and in addition 1 plus H plus will be added as usual for the precursor ion already added. So in this case, if you calculate, then you can see that this part will be the 47.1. To see that CH3 is the 15. Two CH3 groups is removed. So 15 plus 15 means 30 minus 30. 2 hydrogen is added. That means plus 2. That means ultimately for this part, whatever will lose, the plus 28 will be lost. So if you see the difference, 75.1 minus 47.1, 75.1 minus 28, then if you count, then 0.1, here 7, 3, 4. So it is the exact matching. That means this part is exact matching with the product ion. So this part is the product ion of the precursor ion of the whole compounds. So in same way, if you break here or here, then see here also difference you can find the in this second case, that means N-nitrosodiethylamine. In this case, the difference between precursor ion and product ion 103.1 minus 75.1. In this case, if you see again, it will be the 28. So 28 will be loose from this part. These two bonds will be broken. Then only this part will come. And in the third case also you find same way, but here the losing mass is different. And in this case, if you count, I hope this portion will be clipped. Then whatever the mass is, product ion mass is there, this is the this part of the precursor ion will be the product ion. So in the same way, we'll get the product ions list. In addition, precursor ions. In the mass spectrometry system, we need the confirmation for any compound. Precursor ions and product ions both are needed to confirm the main compound. Now this is the list. All 12 compounds, you will get different product ions. And here sometimes you can see the common. Here you see that this is these two but different product ions. And in this case, if you see, then you will see that I shown about one type of fragmentation. So one product ion has come. but in different way. Different way, if you will fragment it, then again you will get the different product ion. And that's why the product ion, you can get more than one product ion for the same precursor ion. And its retention time, you can see same way, and retention time window also 1.5. And fragmenter, whatever voltage you are using, that you have to mention here, and collision energy also you have to mention here. Because you see that in this case, the second NDEA, to get the 47.1, you need the more collision energy. So when the collision energy different, so different type of product ions you will get from the same precursor ions. So in this way, all these parameter you have to set in the MS configuration, during the MS configuration for the mass spectrometry. That's why it is called the detailed MRM setting. MRM means multiple reaction monitoring, because it is the multiple reaction, multiple fragmentation. That's why it is called the multiple reaction monitoring or MRM setting. And detailed MRM means DMRM setting. Now results and discussion. The calibration concentration range from the, in this case, as per this application note from Agilent, 0.05 to 100 nanogram per ml. And here R square value, it should be greater than the 0.996. It is the criteria for the robust quantitative methods. For all the analyte displaying the linear responses throughout the concentration range. Now you can see here the overlaid detailed multiple reaction monitoring chromatography. You can see that it is mentioned as per the elution time, whatever we set in the settings of the UPLC as well as in the mass spectrometry. Then you see the we have 12 compounds, 12 nitrosamines. This is the 1, 2, 3, the small one, 4, this one 5, 6, 7, 8, it is 9, this one is 10, this small one 11, and this is the 12. So 12 number of nitrosamine compounds we found in these chromatograms. Now this result will come automatically, and here you can see that whatever the compounds in the LOD and LOQ label along with the signal to noise ratio, S/N ratio, and its R square value also, you see the greater, the whatever R square value is set, it is greater than that, 0.997 to 0.999, and in some case 0.994, 0.996. And linearity range also it is mentioned here for the NDMA, 0.05 to 100 nanogram per ml, and for the all compounds it is higher level is always the 100 mg per ml, but lower limit of the linear range, it differs depending on the compounds. And this data has been taken by the Agilent Altivo TQ. That is one model of the triple quadruples from Agilent manufacturers. Every other companies, they have the triple quadruple, because triple quadruple is the very basic mass spec instrument. Now, accuracy and reproducibility. Calibration curves for each of the 12 compounds demonstrate an accurate rate within the 20% of the expected concentration limit at the limit of quantitation. Detection limits, quantitation limits, and calculated statistics are shown for the measured linear calibration range. So here is the detailed result is there. You can find CV value is there, average value is there for every compound. For the concentration range from 0.1 to 1.0 nanogram per ml. And for one case, NPIP, the first concentration is the 0.15 nanogram per ml, not 0.1 nanogram per ml. So you can see the linearity is there, and here the equation is there, and R square value automated it will come. And this is the representative calibration curves from the Agilent triple quadrupole systems. So conclusion, the quadrupole, that means this triple quadrupole LC-MS can analyze nitrosamine impurities at the low concentration level demanded by the regulatory requirements. That means regulatory requirement required very low concentration levels detection, and this experiment provides the need by the regulatory requirements in respect of the determination of all 12 types of nitrosamine compounds. This experiment demonstrates the sensitivity also, because you here you got the R square value as well as the CB. So these will tell the how sensitive your that method in respect of the detection of certain nitrosamine impurities at low concentration level. So this method can be used in the quantitation of these impurities in different ARB drug products with some alteration in chromatographic condition, because sometimes chromatographic condition you have to change also. Gradient program you have to change to get the better chromatogram. So that you have to develop in-house. Stay with me to continue with different type of class, which will be helpful for your learning as well as your professional career, different interview process. Thank you so much for attending this class. I have also the podcast with same name, Dr. Acharya Academy. This is the, till now it is with the chemistry in the honors and degree level education, all inorganic, organic, physical, chemistry I included. You can check it, and please subscribe. This is Dr. Acharya Academy, and if you like it, please like and share with your colleagues, with your friends. Thank you so much for watching this class.